Hello, thank you for joining our presentation. My name is Julia and I will be introducing our study. Najona will cover methods, I will cover the results, Dennison will present our discussion, and Allie will close with limitations and future research. The purpose of our study was to examine the impact that cultural background has on one's perception of the purpose of sport. Previous research has found that perceptions related to the purpose of sport can vary based on various demographic factors. Our research was guided by our research question of, do Native American and non-Native American college students differ in their perceptions of the purpose of sport? We were also interested in understanding if other demographics had an impact. For example, whether or not one's sex or whether or not they played sports in high school had an impact on the perception of sport.
For our research design, we had administered an online survey which consisted of a 39-item questionnaire. The questionnaire held demographic information and also items that would measure the purpose of sport. The items captured the perceptions of the purpose of sport, whether it related to their success, becoming a good citizen, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, or just being a competitive athlete. These items were derived from Duda's Purpose of Sport questionnaire and also Nicole's task on Eagle orientation. As our sampling method, we had chosen the convenient sampling, and this is basically just testing a group apart from a large population just because they were easy to reach. There were a total number of 141 students that had participated in our survey, and they were from the exercise science department. To analyze our data, we had chosen the MANOVA test just because there were multiple dependent factors being tested for two independent factors, which are the Native and non-Native cultural values.
Before analyzing the data, we treated in an Excel spreadsheet to calculate the means for each of our dependent variables. As you can see in our chart, among all participants who completed the questionnaire, physical activity and self-esteem were the two highest means. The areas with the lowest means among all participants were social status and career goals. Among all participants in the variables with a high variance were career goal and social status. The lowest variance was among self-esteem and mastery cooperation. Comparing the differences of means between Native and non-Native American students, Native American students averaged a higher mean in mastery cooperation, citizenship, competition, career goal, self-esteem, and social status. Among all the participants, Native American students had a more significant standard deviation for physical activity and social status. After running a MANOVA, it was found that no significant difference existed in the perception of the purpose of sport between non-Native and Native American students. However, another MANOVA we ran indicated that a significant difference existed in the perception of the purpose of sport between males and females. A subsequent investigation of the individual dependent variables found that competitiveness was the only variable where a significant difference between males and females was observed.
3 findings were collected or identified from our study. The first finding was cultural background doesn't influence the purpose of sport between Native and non-Native college students. This can be supported by the fact that there wasn't a comprehensive statistical distinction between the two groups to conclude there is a cultural background influence. Years to come, future research should be done to help discover this distinction between the two groups. The next finding highlighted a large number of males seeing the purpose of sport as a career compared to females. A research article by Duda showed that males saw the purpose of sport as a career as well, helping support a finding. Another research article saw a gender difference in ego orientation between males and females. This can be identified within the United States sports culture of how male sports are more likely to be televised and promoted to the public compared to female sports. As a result, a discrimination can be seen toward female sports in the United States sports culture. From the 7 variables that were used to identify ego and task-oriented perspectives, active lifestyle and enhanced self-esteem were the highest. A research article done in 2005 discovered college students' motivation towards sports were more intrinsic rather than extrinsic. Another research article published in 2014 found a positive relation between physical activity has on self-esteem. From the findings suggests that the U.S. school system played a big part of bridging sports with active lifestyle and enhancing self-esteem.
We had some limitations on our research due to COVID-19. We planned on doing in-person questionnaires, but due to circumstances, we were limited to do online questionnaires for safety measures. Also, our online questionnaire was distributed to students enrolled in exercise science classes for convenience, which skewed our sample population. As listed, we had high percentages of our sample population of student athletes, which didn't give us a good representation of our school as a whole. Future research could be done with an emphasis on different ethnic or cultural background population. the difference between male and females and how they perceive the purpose of sport, or the same research could be done but with the focus of high school students.